Ken is kind. He is effective. He can make hard decisions without being harsh. And I think that that is just one skill set that not very many people have.
You know, Ken really embodies what we value as faculty members and what we look for in faculty members. And that is a commitment and passion for teaching. It is a focus on scholarship. And Ken early on was very much a community-based scholar and practitioner, and that he has been a tremendous servant leader to the institution.
I am impressed with his devotion to Longwood. I mean, someone who could do as many things as well as he has done it. He also seems to have a great perspective about that.
He's just a guy that you want to get to know, and you just naturally like him. You cannot not like Ken Perkins. Ken was always a guy who would ask a lot of questions, and then he listened. He just didn't ask. He listened. He always waited and waited patiently, and then after that he might not say anything for a little bit, just lean back in his chair, and you'd kind of wait, well, what's he thinking? And so when you got something from Ken, it was a nugget of wisdom that you really wanted to hear.
When I think of Ken, I actually think of the term, he's a Renaissance man. You can't spend 38 years on this campus in the first place and not know who he is.
You know, Ken himself certainly comes from a background that reflects the background of many of our students, and grew up in a small town in Georgia and made his way up through kind of the college system and discovered sociology and the thrill of research and teaching, and landed himself here at Longwood early in his career and really made the institution his kind of life choice.
The classroom is sacred space at Longwood, and Ken has been the steward of that spirit through these many decades now. And that, I would say, foremost, you know, whether it's in his role as a beloved professor, as provost, out there on the hustings, working on advancing the university, out there as an ambassador. He always has that at the forefront of his mind, that we are a place that cherishes that connection between professor and student.
Ken, he's invested in anything that he's working on, and he absolutely believes in the power of education, and he believes in the Longwood story and what Longwood has to offer our students.
As a professor, he was very, very kind. He was very patient, and that's one of the things I remember the most about him. Statistics in particular, I needed extra help outside of the classroom, and he spent hours with me really helping to understand the content because I couldn't easily grasp it. And in class, he was like that. That's really what I think of when I think of him, is how patient and thorough he was. If somebody asked a question in class, he would typically say, okay, well, let's dig into that a little bit more. Instead of just answering the question, he would make sure everybody understood. And if there was a challenge, we kind of all worked through it together.
He's been a very strong faculty member. He served as department chair. He's done so much in his specialty of sociology. But he's also really been in the thick of Longwood growing, moving forward, overcoming obstacles. And as an administrator, I think he's equally strong as he was as a professor.
It was well after I first got to know him that I discovered this incredible list of multifarious contributions. The one that impressed me in many ways was director of the Longwood Self-Study for accreditation. That is as challenging a job, I think, as a university official can face in terms of having to deal with all parts of the administration, all parts of the faculty, and to get them to come together in a report. So that, I mean, it is an extraordinary list. It's obviously unimpeachable evidence of his skill and dedication.
The fact that Ken has been elected to work both as the provost and at one time the president of the university for, I think, a sum total of 45 days shows that the university respects Ken both as a professional and as a leader of both the faculty and as a driver for initiatives here on the university.
Ken embodies our ideals of the citizen leader, a servant leader, very self-effacing, but with his finger on the pulse in every single way. A good word of encouragement for everyone in times that are tough. He can see the light, and in times that are easy and prosperous, he's always looking over the horizon and trying to keep navigating us better and better and better.
There's a word that he taught me, and it was a goal that he said he thought everyone should be. He gave a speech at one point about being magnanimous, and I would say that it's ironic that Ken gave a speech about the importance of being magnanimous because he absolutely is. He is not going to be someone that's going to find humor or purpose in drama. In fact, he's somebody who soothes the waters, and he's very good at that. I have learned, and my leadership skills have blossomed and grown tremendously because of my time working with Ken. I've learned a lot from him.
When I was working with him, we got a phone call from someone who was close to the family of a young lady who was getting ready to graduate. Her father was terminally ill. His final wish was to see his daughter graduate at Longwood. It didn't look like he was going to make it to graduation. So Ken arranged for the president, the chair of the board of visitors, the dean, and himself to robe up and host an intimate family graduation ceremony in the rotunda. Those are the kinds of things I think that make Longwood a special place, and Ken is very attuned with the things that make this a special place.
In all the things Ken has done through all the years, and it's the arc of such a wonderful career. You can't do that unless you do have some elemental graces, and his for sure are a mix of hard work, wisdom, but also charm and humor. Anytime you're with Ken, there's going to be something wise and there's going to be something funny, and that you will get really good work done. That's a rare mix that he really embodies.
It really does feel good to have established a scholarship, and to think that that a person who comes to Longwood seeking what I think is the great liberal arts education that Longwood offers, the fact that will honor Ken and that his name will be remembered for that makes me feel real good.
When I learned that Dean Pope and his wife were serious about naming the scholarship after me, and I'm rarely like this, but I was speechless. I thought he was kidding. And he said, "Ken, I thought your job was to make donors happy and say yes to what they wanted to do." So, thus, we have the Kenneth B. Perkins Scholarship. And to show my gratitude, I have given Mr. Pope, Mrs. Pope passed away, an unopened bottle of Colonel E.H. Taylor Jr. small batch bourbon, which it is not easy to find. And I plan to continue that type of gift.
I am very fortunate that I had the opportunity to learn from him, and it's definitely, molded my career and really helped me. Even things that I've learned over the years help me day to day in the job that I have now. And so I kind of feel sad for the students that don't get to learn from him as a professor. So I do think it's great that he has a scholarship being named after him, because it's like people kind of have a piece of him, and he's really going to leave his legacy behind long after he leaves Longwood.
It's something that honors a person who we look towards as one of those role models for students, for faculty, and for staff. Ken cared and had great compassion for others, and I think a scholarship does that as well.
I think it reflects how Ken Perkins himself is a citizen leader. We've talked a lot about what his service was to Longwood, but I don't want to miss the fact that Ken Perkins also spent years as a volunteer firefighter. He also served on the school board and was committed to the public schools here in Prince Edward. Ken has served in many ways his entire community. He is a well-rounded citizen leader. He is, in fact, what he taught. And I believe that this scholarship honors that and is reflective of that he was what he believed.
Universities are well served, and Longwood has been particularly well served when people like Ken, who've actually taught students for many years and been in the classroom, are willing to step up and to bring that knowledge and experience to the tasks of administration in a modern university. I think that's as important a thing as can happen at a university, and Ken's record in this regard is worthy of recollection and remembrance in the form of a scholarship.
Ken's legacy, I think it can be summed up in a quote that he actually received from an alum. This alumna graduated in the 70s, and Ken was meeting with her and talking to her, and she was endowing her own scholarship. But at this time she was getting an alumni award. And what she said in words is for me what Ken has done his whole career. She said, "Longwood believed in me before I believed in myself." And I would say that Ken Perkins believed in many of us and many students long before we or they ever believed in themselves.
Approaching retirement, I do a lot of reflection and have done a lot of reflection. I reflect on the students and where they are. I love students to come and see me when there's a reunion, many do. And I reflect on how fortunate I am to have had the colleagues and the opportunities that Longwood has given me.